But anyway, we this is Empire Extreme, and we're hanging out with Mercury from Priest. How's it going?
It's going fine. We're only got 3 shows left on the Neon Chronicles tour, which we did with Julian K and September Morning. This is the last leg, East Coast, we do before we go back to Sweden. And it's been a great run, over our expectations. We more people showing up than we imagined, and some places sold out. A lot of places sold out actually, so we're very happy, and this also will result in that we're extending the tour this fall actually.
Oh, nice.
I can't give you any more detail than that because I don't have it, but it's in the works that we're gonna extend the Julian K, hopefully also September Morning tour in August, September somewhere. But more info about that on our website later on, and I send it to you if you when I got it. So, but I'm just hinting here. So
yeah, well, as I say, yeah, because last time we saw you guys were playing at this venue,
Yeah.
Love Drafts, last year.
Yeah.
You know, and then like I said before that, you know, I know before we talked, you playing shows in the U.S., you kind of was not very much East Coast, sometimes a little bit of New York area and stuff like that. So like being able to see you, I didn't think that I was going to see you again within such a short period of time from last time. So how was that last tour and the beginning of this tour been so good for you?
I mean, thank you. Great to be back. First of all, at this fantastic venue, Love Drafts, which is in Mechanicsburg, and if you don't know it, it's also a brewery which brews fantastic beers and have a really good sounding stage and good looking venue. So we're always happy to be back here, and hopefully we can come back soon again. It's a bit diverse. We don't do the booking ourselves. We of course have a booking agent and it's been a little different booking situations for us. But now we are going with artists worldwide and Chuck Bernal, and we think it's a really good match for us, and hopefully we can work the whole country in the best way and in a way that makes sense logistically, which doesn't always do. It's a really big country. We're from Sweden. It's more like California only, and here you got this really big chunk of country that takes time to plow through, and so hopefully we have good routings so far, and it's all about planning, I guess. But since we work with artists worldwide now, I think they absolutely know what they're doing. So we feel we're in good hands, and hopefully we can come back and work these places where we love to come back to and really enjoy playing. So
and then the last time you guys came, and then like you said before, earlier on this tour, you guys were playing with Julian K. How was it like, running with those guys again?
I mean, they are professionals to the bone, and they're super kind people. They are exactly knowing what to focus on tour and not to focus on. So it's good to travel with like-minded people and basically no drama, and for everybody that's been on a rock tour, there's always shit going down and stuff happening. I've been on those tours, and with touring with these guys, it's very easy going, super. Love the guys, and we probably gonna do something together also. We talked it through, and we probably gonna record and do something in the future.
Be awesome.
Yeah, and also doing the last leg of the Neon Chronicles tour together also. So we have some plans to extend our both professional and real friendship with these fantastic people. So we're very happy to have met them, and we're grateful to all the help they've given us also during this time.
Yeah, the last time I talked to you, you guys had putting out that album. You had that new Flesh album that came out in 2023. I talked to you before that album. So how's the fan reception of that album been so far, since it's been about a year or so?
It's been great. because it was the re-release of New Flesh, which we got the rights back to for the first time since it was another small record label that had the rights to that until earlier this year. We got it back, the rights back in February, I think, or March. But what we did, we knew the time would come, so we got the rights back. So we, in our book, we already had the rights back because that was supposed to be made and ready to go in the summer of 2023, and it was. So we decided to release it because that's what we prepared for, and now we, of course, have the rights back. So that's it's been a good reception. It's good to finally own all of your material yourself again. And thanks to our lawyers and everyone that was involved in that process. It was a bit lengthy, but now we feel good that we cleared that. There's still some stuff left to do, but that's minor parts. The most important was to get the rights back for the masters. But now we're building up for the next album, Dark Pulse. And that's we're very excited about that one. It's going to be our darkest album, we're looking forward to release it.
I'd say you've released 2 singles already. How's the reception been from those 2 singles?
Very good. The Burning Love came with a video, which we're very happy with. And we sort of rushed the release of that a little bit because we needed to release a pre-order in order to get the money to pay our producer and the first chunk of the production of the whole album. So we probably would have gained a little bit of attention while waiting a little longer with it, but it came out really good. We're very happy with it. Now we released Just a Game, which came out in the 22nd of March this year. Or was it? No, March. And there's an upcoming single actually on the 26th of April called Black Venom, which you should definitely check out. We haven't actually officially announced it yet, but that's only because I had to answer emails all day today, so I'll come back to that either later tonight or tomorrow. We're gonna make a big announcement about that one. So keep your eyes and ears peeled for Black Venom.
Yeah, I saw
by Priest.
Yeah, I saw that you guys did that. You did the pre-ordering for this album that kind of helped, like the Kickstarter kind of thing. Helped out the album.
Really good, and I think it's also I mean, if you don't already do it yet as a small band or a medium-sized band, consider an extra time to sign with a small to medium-sized label and check out the possibilities to actually do a fundraiser or get the funds anyways, because often your first deal isn't maybe the best one you'll get in your lifetime. So maybe it's another way to raise the money to actually do your album and pay a PR agency a little bit of money, and then you gonna get this practically the same effect as you do with a small label. So consider that, and that's what we did also, and we're very happy that we did. And now we can also not just keep a bigger chunk of the what we get ourselves in order to make our next album and feel secure in what we're doing, and we can also you can sleep good at night because all decisions, if you make a wrong decision, it's on you, but you don't have to think like, why don't they do more for us, or I really wish they did like that instead, and then you're in more of you have more control over stuff. But I can also understand if you have a label, they do a lot of work, and then you can focus more on the music. Now if you do everything yourself, basically you have to be the management and a business person, a label manager, and an artist and do everything basically with your small team and your band, or so it's a lot of work, but it's not I heard it's harder to start a restaurant,
Yeah.
So it's and I don't know much about that, but I can only imagine. But no, so really consider to do it yourself. We do right now, and I think we're going to continue to do that and make it grow slowly instead of just signing with a major label and maybe blow up. I don't know.
Yeah.
More stuff can happen. They have more money to put into everything, but I think we want to just Priest might be around in 500 years, and if we do it the right way now, building a foundation, maybe a legacy or whatever, maybe in the future it will continue to grow, but be something more, what do you say, authentic. Then maybe if there's a lot of will and money coming from different ways in order to create your product or your brand, if you want to think like that. Here's another member sneaking by. Yeah. So, but with that said, yes, we're on that route, and we're very happy about it. So, it works, but it's a lot of work. You have to be prepared for that.
Oh yeah, it's definitely probably more satisfying when you're doing it that way versus being in a big band. I know that you were part of the big band. I mean, even though you were only a minute character in that big band, but like doing stuff now with your band now, the do-it-yourself kind of DIY stuff, it's more satisfying. You would think that you're doing all this, with your own hands.
Yeah, I'm very happy about that we're doing this right now, and in comparison. But also it's pretty funny because why we're doing this by ourselves right now, it could have ended up a little bit different, because in a couple of years ago it was we were about to be signed with a major Swedish label, a sub-label of a very, very big label, one of the biggest in the world, maybe the biggest in the world. And it was pretty far gone. We had meetings and everything, and then suddenly I got like, you can't sign us. They can't sign us, and I was like, why? No, because of Ghost.
Yeah.
Because they are on the same. Okay, now I give it all away. But so the A&R for Ghost at that time, he had directly went to the person that was going to sign us and told her to don't do it. And she was like, well, why not? They're not even the same genre. They're not even competing on the same genre. So why? Yeah. No, it's for emotional reasons. And we don't want any trouble with the CEO of the company to then maybe Ghost get to another label instead.
Yeah.
So that's ended up in us not getting signed on a major label, which resulted in us doing this by ourselves right now. But it was that's the way it happened.
Yeah.
And then we got a lot of doors closed back in Sweden at least, which resulted in a song called Blacklisted maybe.
Yeah.
But you can apply that on many things. But that's our background a little bit, how to feel when you are shut down or shut out from basically the whole entertainment business in Sweden, Stockholm at least.
Yeah.
But now we've moved away from Stockholm, and we have our own companies and own label and doing everything ourselves, and I think it's a more satisfying feeling of freedom, and to not be in that pond where anxiety seems to have gained roots a lot, because everybody's anxious. They want to keep their jobs, and everybody's afraid of who's liking who or whatever. It's just like if you want to get in there, I mean, it's different. And if we can create our own island, I mean, I think everybody, even those who are in the top game, in the I think everybody feels that they might want some more control themselves or be more authentic and doesn't have to be aware of other people's feelings or whatever, So, but that's just a little bit of Priest history right there.
Yeah.
You sure this is gonna sound good?
Oh yeah. It's
okay, cool.
But going on with that, with the few EPs you had, with the albums you have, with the new album you have, does it make it difficult to, now that you have more material, to figure out what you're gonna play as far as the set list?
Both yes and no, but with the yes, it's like when you have an electronic band, it's more of a preparation process rehearsing is a preparation process, but it's more like organic. It's like you meet up, you decide which songs to rehearse, you play them together, or you sit at home rehearsing them, and then you go back to rehearse. Okay, this sounds good. Then we put it on the set list. In this electronic music, you have to locate all the tracks, and then you have to bounce them without the channels that are actually going to be played on stage. So to prepare a track for live, it's a different process, and it's often me that does it, and I often have 50,000 other things to on my list.
Yeah.
So we of course do it when we have a new album, but we really have to pick one out, and then then we take away something from the old set list and put in that, and then then suddenly we have a lot of songs that we can put in and take out and mix and match. The bigger the repertoire grows, but it's a matter of time. It's time consuming to prepare live tracks. But we have some new stuff for you tonight.
Yeah. Because from the album that I did the interview with you and reviewed for, I would love to hear Phantom's Pain. I would love to hear Ghost Rider, even Nightcrawler.
Oh, yeah, that would be.
I would love to hear that.
I think we might have played Nightcrawler last time. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think the last time you were here, you just did from that album. It was Blacklisted and then Signal to Noise.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, because we have a short set. We have
Now
we have some more stuff tonight. Maybe not the titles that you requested, but we have some different tracks for you tonight that we not usually play live.
Yeah.
Because I can also imagine too, because like you touched on, Mercury, about the sound, the electronic and stuff like that making a set list, putting together the songs that are going to flow correctly, but also for you guys to be able to execute on stage in a proper flow without it seeming awkward to the fans or dead space or anything can be a little trickier, especially as the material grows.
Absolutely, and there's some songs we can't exclude from a set list. For example, we always gonna have The Cross or The Pit or History in Black, for example. We can't take those away from the set list, or Vaudeville, as well as the Signal to Noise, and a really good one that works very well is Blacklisted, and we're gonna play something from Cyberhead tonight as well.
Oh, nice.
So it's gonna be. It's always nice to have some mix and match from, but I'm really excited about the new album, and as much more tracks you have in your repertoire, the easier it gets, I guess. The hard part would be to exclude, while the hard part in the beginning of an inauguration of a band is do we have enough? Yeah, we have enough, and now we can mix and match. And of course, when you're making a set list, it's important that we always measure the BPMs. So you rise in BPM, and then you take it down, and then you rise it up. So you don't play a 124 BPM song right after a 126 BPM song, because then subconsciously the audience will feel energy loss. So then you match them so it rises all the time a little bit. So yeah, and so we think a lot like that when we do our set lists, and everybody does. But we're just trying to have a good dramaturgical curve for the audience, so they should never feel bored coming to a Priest show. So that's important for us, and that's what we're here for. That's why we're sitting here, and that's one of our most important tasks to do, to entertain.
Oh yeah.
So that's basically what we do.
I mean, that's a big part of it, because with the music, but not also just the music, the very theatrical theme of the band, with the outfits and all that kind of stuff, kind of just adds that extra entertainment.
Exactly, and we put that on ourselves in double meaning, both the masks and everything, but also then there's an expectation of something maybe extra or something different that we want to. And I learned a lot in Ghost as well. It's not only bad things. I learned a lot, so maybe I wouldn't be able to do this without having the ground knowledge and from the inside out of another theatrical band that was very professional and did it very thoroughly. So I saw everything, but I also saw what went wrong sometimes with different solutions of theatrical masks and stuff like that. And that was crucial when we made these masks. You see, that mask has an open mouth, for example. While another mask in another band have a closed mouth with silicone lips in front. You can. It's, of course, when you sing live, it sounds like shit. So if you go back and listen, you hear that, of course. But it doesn't sound very good.
The muffledness.
To be honest, I just like. For maybe other people think it sounds awesome, but I don't know. So I could modify when creating this project. I modified those little parts and just tried to make it a little better, a little slimmer, a little cooler, and made it more in line with my own taste. And with that said, also adding on to the pop culture I consumed. Everybody consumed the pop culture I consumed, basically, but instead of going horror movie or giallo movies from Italy, we went more RoboCop, Terminator, all that kind of stuff instead. So and a bit of Hellraiser in there, so little horror elements. But so we basically did what many other bands done before, like Daft Punk or Kraftwerk. Just try to have a good, nice image and combine it with some good music. And try to have some kind of mystical narrative going on. So, but that also is created for other people to fill in the blanks, because we don't tell a big narrative. We give some hints here and there, and it seems like other people and the fans like to fill in some blanks and make up their own mind of stuff, and I think that's a powerful thing, not to tell everything.
I mean,
we have a story also. I can plow it out. I have a backstory, or write a synopsis, but it can be more powerful. That's a good backbone to have for yourself. When you do it. You don't necessarily have to tell it. It's when you're writing a character for a movie, it's good for the screenwriter to have a storyline, or where the character grew up or whatever. You have a big so when you write, you know the character. So that's basically what we do. But then the audience fills in the rest. So that's, I think it's very important to not write everything on the nose all the time.
That's an interesting observation, because like you said with the mask, somebody can look at that, look at your mask and see it as maybe S&M's kind of style. Someone else can look at it and think of RoboCop, like you said. Someone else can look at it and think more of like your Hellraiser. To me, I almost kind of feel a little nod to the Toxic Avenger almost a little bit.
Yeah.
It's got a
Wow,
very toxic
yeah.
kind of Avenger kind of look to it.
I love the old Trauma movies.
Yeah.
I actually had Toxic Avenger 1 and 2 on VHS when I was a kid. So I'm very familiar with those. Maybe subconsciously that worked through.
Yeah.
We're big trauma nerds.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Okay.
We're big horror trauma
I
guys.
love that. I love. I can't say I've seen probably most of it, but I've seen some of the key pictures they made.
Well, Toxic Avenger and Class of Nukem High.
Oh, Class of Nukem
Those
High,
are
yeah.
my two.
Yeah,
Those are the ones
right.
that like.
Yeah.
If you bring up trauma, those are the first two things I'm going to talk
yeah.
about. Is Class of Nukem High. and
Class of Nukem High is fantastic.
And
But
Toxic Avenger.
you know, Poultry Guys.
Yeah, Poultry Guys is awesome.
Romeo and Juliet.
Juliet, yep.
Killer Condom.
Yeah.
Monster in the Closet.
Yeah, Monster in the Closet. Yeah, but that's Monster in the Closet is so. It's almost word. It's like so much more simplified.
Yeah.
Than
Graduation Day. We were actually just talking about Mother's Day recently because Ron and I have a side gig outside of music that's based around horror movies, and we were talking
we
about
have a
Mother's
horror
Day.
podcast.
Wow.
We talk about horror movies and we go against each other.
If you have a movie coming up, or you know somebody is directing or something, I'm in.
Cool.
Yeah.
We'll have to put you in touch with Dietrich.
Yeah.
Well, like on that kind of level, if you're not already familiar with each other.
That's what I want to kind of get into.
Yeah,
The music that I write is very similar to you. I do a lot of the electronic dark art stuff perfectly for soundtracks.
I mean,
your music is perfect for soundtracks.
I'm into doing some sound. I have some connections now in Los Angeles, so they're probably gonna be. I have more than one connection there right now that will try to work out some soundtracks for. So I'm up for it. I think I'm a movie nerd myself, so to be able to do some soundtracks, that would be fantastic. And I would love to do it in the horror genre. So
which is funny because it segues right into the question I was getting ready to ask too. Talking about horror movies, you're sitting in the Jason chair. What were your favorite horror movies growing up, or your favorite horror movies now?
That's a good question. Growing up, I must say, this is a hard question.
Yeah,
I must say that if it's really good, it's the one you felt most eerie about, maybe. It was classified a horror movie. I don't know. It's an art house movie now, but I mean, Eraserhead by.
David Lynch stuff. I love it.
I felt so bad, more bad than watching Friday the 13th, or or even Hellraiser. I felt really bad while watching. So, but Nightmare on Elm Street, all that. Love those. But I felt inside of me, it was like when I saw Eraserhead when I was around 12 years old. I thought that made a great and strong impression on me.
Oh yeah.
Because it was so far away from reality.
Oh, yeah.
It was like I don't know what I'm watching, and the kid started cut up.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of me. I like my movie when I was growing up, watching horror movies all the time growing up and loved them. But the one that messed with my head so much was Jacob's Ladder.
Oh yeah, Jacob's Ladder.
The scene when he's like
Tim Robbins,
in the mirror. Just that image right there when I was a kid just terrified the shit out of me. Yeah.
PTSD is more.
That movie and it's more because it's more like not saying that Freddy didn't scare you and Hellraiser didn't scare you, but these were more based in reality, somewhat reality.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Scanners with that classic explosion scene.
Scanners is fantastic. I'm a big Cronenberg. Seen the Crimes of the New Crimes of the Future.
We went to the theaters and saw it when we came out.
I love that. It didn't get that recognition, but I think it was really good. Definitely an interesting take on the 1970s version he made. The first version of it he made, which was basically a silent movie. With some sound in it, but not too much.
We just saw the Late Night with the Devil.
Yeah, we went.
I haven't seen it yet.
We went and seen that.
I saw
really
it
good.
up in cinemas, but I didn't have the
Yeah,
time
it's
to
really
catch
good.
it.
If you like those kind of like, movies like that, like it reminded me of like Scanners a little bit with The
Yeah.
Exorcist and a little bit of that
Yeah.
kind of like punchy comedy sort
Yeah.
of bit to it too.
I'm definitely gonna see it when I get the time. But to answer the question, maybe the best one is a DVD I owned for when it came out, maybe 99, 98. It's Suspiria, of course, the old Argento.
I'm a huge
'Cause
Argento fan.
Dario,
So it's like,
Dario nerds to the core.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a huge Dario
I
fan.
think
We did a
his movies
Dario.
are lovely. They're beautiful, most of all, and how he does the weird camera shots and stuff. Sometimes you
Yeah.
wonder how he did it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
We featured a Dario movie in one of our recent showdowns on one of our episodes.
Cool.
So that was a lot of
Which
fun.
one?
So we have a lot in the can already for future episodes because we
Cool.
record a lot, because that's the great thing about pre-recorded, we can put it out when we're ready. But we did a foreign vampires category, which is like a showdown, because we do a series of showdowns. We do things basically two ways. We do alphabet reviews,
Yeah.
where we pick, a letter of the, obviously it's a letter of the alphabet, and we do 5 categories: 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and
Nice.
2010s.
Nice.
And then he picks a movie, I pick a movie.
Wow.
We put it out to the fans to see if we get enough. We want you to talk about this, and if we don't, that's okay. He and I just be like, well, which one do you want to do? And
We have a
that's how
movie
we do
nerd
it.
over there as well.
And that's how we do the alphabet ones. But he picks, when we do the showdown, since his character is the devil and my character is the vampire,
Yeah.
is we pick a specific category, and then we pick a movie that we want to put it up against. And we try to stay away from mainstream,
Yeah.
really well
Yeah,
known.
but other people do the mainstream.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
already vast amounts of information about that, or what people think
Yeah.
about those movies. So it's much more fun to do.
Yeah, like we did we did a clown one, and like instead of doing like it and all the big ones,
Killer
we
Clowns
did,
from Outer Space.
Yeah, we did Eli Roth's Clown and then Stitches.
Oh, I haven't seen.
So it's like
that.
so it's movies that people might not know as much, or it might just get people to that haven't seen and go, hey,
Awesome.
this sounds awesome.
Yeah, now you reminded me. I have to see it.
Yeah.
But we did foreign vampires, and so I picked Dario's Dracula, and
course.
he picked Let the Right One In.
You can plug the movie.
Swedish.
I wrote the soundtrack to.
What?
So we can plug the movie that I wrote the soundtrack to.
Yeah. Will you tell?
Exposure.
Yeah.
It was a micro-budget film, just done with a handful of friends.
This is, by the way, another member, Sulfur from the band Priest.
So, micro-budget. We were really aiming just to win some awards at cons or something, and then we ran into some people that were pitching their movie, and they picked it up, and so it got picked up for Showtime during their Halloween season, which was pretty cool. I wrote the whole soundtrack too. Ended up practically scoring. I thought I was going to write a couple songs, and then they gave it to me, and it only had Foley, and I was like,
What was the name of the movie?
it's Exposure.
Is that the one that had like a big X in it or something? That's
No, Exposure. It's like an '80s throwback, like all practical effects, just a total labor of love. So yeah.
Check out Exposure. Thank you so much, Sulfur.
You're very welcome.
Yeah, but so that's but recent horror movies. I don't know. My brain is so filled with. I mostly watch older movies nowadays. Let me come back to that later in the interview, because sometimes the title pops up. All of a sudden. But of course.
Got it.
Okay.
I will send that over to you, bro.
Nice.
Cool. All right. But movies is very, very nice. I always watch 1 or 2 movies a night, maybe when I'm at home. One
Yeah.
at least. And I watch them with commentary tracks. So I buy the physical product, and then I just watch all interviews, all commentary tracks, all info about the movies as well. And now I bought the Dario Argento collection. I have a couple of years old with all his movies. but it's no extra material. And now I see that Criterion releases some new, so now I have to rebuy, the movies.
My copy of Eraserhead is a Criterion collection.
Oh yeah, that's a good edition. It's really a lot on that one.
Well, the first movie we reviewed actually for the show was a Criterion movie, an Antichrist.
Yeah, we did
with
the
Willem
Antichrist.
Dafoe.
Lars von Trier. It's Charlotte Gainsbourg. Fantastic movie. Ouch, that one hurts. Well, I put that one on my favorite of recent. We can call it a horror movie, right?
Yeah.
I think I put that one on my top 5 of recent horror movies. It's masterful.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece. I think.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Because that was always a joke with me that because from Sweden, like we always joked around about I was gonna write, because I write horror movies, I like to write scripts and stuff like that. That my whole joke was to go over to Sweden, make it, so that eventually a year later America will remake it, and you get paid twice.
That's a great idea. Because in Sweden, you can make a movie for much less money. You can shoot everywhere without permission. Basically, you can just go out and shoot. You can't do that in the US. Right?
Well, yeah,
you can.
Guerrilla style. If you want to do it.
Guerrilla style. Not a bad idea, actually. Do it.
Because there's so many good Swedish horror films that came out, and then within a year or two later, all of a sudden they just re-release it. A lot of European ones, just in general. But it's like I'm a huge Swedish horror fan.
Thank you. Yeah, but I mean, it's Evil Ed.
Yeah.
That was a funny one. I saw it back in the days, 96 or whatever it came out on VHS. I haven't rewatched it since actually, but it was a weird ass movie.
Yeah.
But Let the Right One In, of course, it was masterfully directed by Thomas Alfredson. He really. Then he went on during Tinker Tail's Old Spy, of course, which also I think is super great. Then he did The Snowman, which maybe didn't fly.
That one wasn't too good.
I think it's productive. It was a bigger production, too much money in it, and then he couldn't do what he wanted, basically. I think. And I think that took out the air a little bit from him actually. I haven't heard what he did after that, but hopefully he gets back in the horror genre again.
Oh yeah.
But he actually started out doing comedies in Sweden. So before Let the Right One In, he actually did. Sweden, they are very famous. Torsk på Tallinn. It's like a bunch of Swedish men going over to Estonia to pick up girls, and it's organized. And it's a comedy about that. And that's very famous in Sweden. So it's very weird that he went on doing like a vampire horror movie also. And maybe not. I heard comedy and horror are very closely connected. So if you can do a good comedy, then you probably can do a good horror movie as well, because you have to have the fine touch of timing, feelings, So But Antichrist, those close-up shots are.
Oh yeah.
Freaking
long.
It hurts still.
Oh yeah.
And von Trier said like all my films, they have to hurt just a little. They have to hurt.
That one might have been a step up above a little bit.
I mean that's like going back to the Dario ones with all the eyeball torture.
Oh
we were like, oh come on, Dario. Although
and also Lucio Fulci, the Beyond, the famous eyeball. What is it? A wooden splinter going into the eyeball. The ice. No, but there's some good movies there, and I would love to read a script that you wrote or something that you worked on.
I like
if Priest can do like a movie soundtrack for a horror movie, we will do it. That would be a very, very cool thing to do. That's something we already have in the works a little bit actually. So
that'd be awesome.
That's something gladly would do.
No, yeah, because like I said, your music, it's got that movie feel to it, the horror movie kind of feel. You could feel like, especially like Signal and the Noise. That song could go into any horror movie and just be playing and just work perfectly.
Thanks. I also think about using the eerie, like having the synths at home. You often do the stabs or arpeggios or bass lines with them, but also nice to take them back to the the 70s, more droney, organic.
Like the Goblin stuff from obviously with Argento.
Exactly. Goblin is great. Then of course they split up and the Goblin and the Goblins.
It's like every time they come around, I'm like, which Goblin is coming?
But I think it's a movie called Contamination or Alien Contamination in the US. I think it's different titles of it, of course. That was a really great. The Goblin they were called in that one. I think that's one of my favorites because it's much more synthy than maybe like Suspiria. Or Profondo Rosso.
I mean, that's the beauty of those older films versus the newer films is the music was such a character in those films where now music is kind of just there, and I'd like to bring back those kind of the Carpenter soundtracks.
Yeah, exactly.
Stuff like that.
That's his trademark.
Yeah.
John Carpenter. When you see a movie like The Thing. Do you remember the Ennio Morricone soundtrack, or do you remember Carpenter's lead motif for the movie? You remember the. I'm not saying, but Morricone did a great job on the movie, which makes the movie maybe gives another depth to the movie, which it maybe wouldn't have if Carpenter did the whole soundtrack. But you remember the lead, from The Thing.
For like other Swedish horror movies, I'm a big Haxan fan.
Oh, yeah, Häxan, the old.
Because I'm a big Nosferatu guy.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I gravitate towards a lot of old black and white demon vampire type movies.
Speaking of feeling alienated and scared, I mean, going back to those old 20s and 30s or even before or after, Vampire was it before, right?
Vampire.
Vampire.
Yeah.
I have that movie too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's very long. It's a series of movies.
And it's the Criterion version.
I know. Yeah, Criterion.
I think Haxan is as well. I think
that's on Criterion.
Antichrist. I know that Vampire is, and I know that Eraserhead are Criterion collections. But I'm really sure that my Haxan is a Criterion as well.
I know it's on Criterion because it's on Criterion Channel.
Gotcha. My copy probably is because it's also like that. The box is like that. Thick.
Yeah, and you got a booklet in there. Mm-hmm. I haven't read that one, but that's why I also love Criterion editions because you get an essay, like 30-page essay. In it, and Häxan, of course, is about burning and witchcraft in general, and it also takes a little turns down to hell and to show Satan himself with a very tongue going like that.
There's some serious tongue action in that movie for some reason.
Yeah, it is a great one. I've seen it with two different type of soundtracks though.
Oh really?
So that soundtrack that is on the Criterion edition is more like an old style soundtrack, while I actually on the library in Stockholm borrowed it on DVD with another soundtrack made in Sweden with a little more modern touch to it, with more female voices, like doing more like chanting in different styles, which was very interesting. Of course, this old silent movies comes with different types of soundtracks because back in the days it was a piano player just in every cinema that played different stuff. Maybe I don't know. Maybe sometimes they had a fixed score, but Metropolis, if you see that, it comes with a lot of different soundtracks you can watch it with. But Häxan is it's a great movie. I think it was a Danish director, but it was shot in Sweden.
I
think his name was Christensen or something. The director.
It's interesting with that score stuff. My buddy Steve, who professionally goes by the name Argyle Goolsby, he a few years ago was able to rescore the original Nosferatu movie for a German print of the movie.
Wow.
So he got to rescore the original movie, but also, you know, the word boxes, since it's a silent film, he redesigned the word boxes as well. So it was very, very cool. So.
That's some heavy modification going on right there, but well, I can always rewatch Nosferatu, so I will gladly rewatch it in another take like this. Please feel free to send over a link or something where I can buy a copy of it or something.
No, definitely. I'll if it's okay with you, I can get the contact information from Ron, as long as it's okay with you.
Of course.
And I'll send you what you need from that.
Yeah. Thank you.
No, of course.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to add before we let go?
You did have one more.
Oh yeah,
line.
the plans. But you already talked about the plans already before. But what any plans other than what you've already mentioned about for the rest of this year? Going on to next year.
Yeah, there's some plans going on. We have, of course, the new record Dark Pulse coming out May 31st. Prior to that, if you happen to be in Sweden and in the city of Linköping, you
Hey, I'm gonna be there.
should come to our release party, which takes place on a brewery, actually, like we are in today. But then we're gonna have a pre-listening of the whole album. We're gonna do some tracks from it. We're also gonna have our own beer called Dark Pils.
Nice.
Yes, a little, Dark Pulse, Dark Pils, and we're gonna have a really nice night there. So that's it's gonna be awesome. So don't miss out of that if you're in Sweden or have the plans to go there, or make a plan maybe to go there just because of this occasion, because you won't regret it. Otherwise, we mentioned a little collaboration maybe with Julian K, which we try to get off the ground. We talked about it a lot, but we haven't time-wise managed to make it happen. But we're gonna have a pretty not hopefully, but we don't have so much plans for this summer, so hopefully we can make plans aside for that.
Do we get to talk about the fact that your upcoming record Dark Pulse is coming out timing-wise with their new record Dark Mode?
Dark Mode.
Yeah.
That was a fun thing, actually. I didn't know, actually, when we were touring last time, that I knew they were like having an album called Dark. But first, when I saw it promoted, I thought it was like, I don't know, it was. Then after we named our album Dark Pulse, then I realized, well, they have an album called Dark Mode out, but I don't think they have released it yet. They have still some stuff to work on it. They just had a very successful fundraiser, just like we did, and they're gonna probably spend the time also to complete that album.
Yeah, for sure. I just think
that would be very. It's a fun thing.
Yeah, I just figured since your two respective camps were getting along so well,
dark,
I thought the timing
dark.
of it was so
Maybe it was subconsciously just like that.
Yeah.
And after that, we working on new music, and we have some more tours in the making, a big European tour and another leg of this American tour this year. And then after that, I'm not completely sure. We're working on new masks and new outfits, so we have a bunch of people soon starting out on that process as well, which is going to be exciting. It's almost like making costumes for a movie or something. So
I was going to say, do you have somebody that you've worked with, or did you make your masks yourself?
No, it's actually several. I did the basic design myself. Then we worked with a guy called Tom Walton, who also worked on like games like Fallout and Cyberpunk 2077 in a Swedish studio. He also worked on the company that 3D printed Keanu Reeves before the release of the trailer for Cyberpunk and so forth. Very good guy. He did a 3D design based on my paper designs. Then we took it to a mask maker in Vienna that sculpted and made the mask, and the resin also based on my cast of my head. Then we had to modify them a little bit in Sweden with another guy that also did masks for us for Cyberhead, the second album we made, which we only did because of Corona. We only did one live stream with. And now we're probably gonna work with a guy called Majesty Black, also that did some Hollywood stuff and stuff for other bands. That we're gonna we good friends. We become friends during the last year, and we have discussions of the looks of the next Priest design in the making. So that's for those who doesn't know, it's a really great glove maker. Done gloves for Margot Robbie in Suicide Squad, for example, and he also does other leather details. So check out his website if you have the chance. Cool. I can also add. Should I add something extra for the? Just some contact info. Or do you want to ask them?
You can mention it on there, and I can be on there.
And if you want more info about Priest, you can check out our website, priestnexus.com. You can also check out our merchandise shop, our web shop, airghoul.com. And you can follow us on social media. We're pretty much everywhere, but mostly on Instagram and Facebook at the moment. And we're Priest Official at both. So feel free to follow us and check out what we're doing. We have a few shows left in the US, so if you're in the East Coast area around New York, make sure you come down to one of our shows. And keep your eyes and ears out for our next album, Dark Pulse, which is out on May 31st. Thank you so much.